One was recovered in this area adjacent to the dividing line between the Wendy's and the Holiday Auto. An interesting thing transpires from this. When we put both of the crime scene reports together, we find one thing, is that this is the pool of blood from Lieutenant Oliver's body. This is where bullet fragment Q2 was found, which is a disrupted jacket from a silver-tipped bullet. And this is where bullet Q1 is found. If you take a look at the distances, they form a straight line, and they point back into this area, which could have been occupied by Mr. Workman at the time he fired the shot. Cartridge cases, ejected cartridge cases were found here. The Colt pistol tends to eject off to the right, so that Mr. Workman would have been somewhat to the left of the ejected cartridge cases. And if he gets in this area, we know from the blood pool where Lieutenant Oliver was found, the bullet fragment Q2 was found, and bullet Q1, we have a relatively straight line. The bullet that was found here, Q1, is 104 feet from the blood pool. Now again, a bullet that leaves the muzzle at 1,000 feet per second is going to go some distance. But the only thing that can take a bullet moving 1,000 feet per second and allow it to drop relatively unmarked to the ground 104 feet later is if it goes through something which retarded it significantly, such as the body of Lieutenant Oliver. Going back, the altercation between Officer Stoddard and Mr. Workman occurred somewhere in this area. The bullet that went through Officer Stoddard's arm traveled to the north. This is Officer Stoddard present at the scene. This is Officer Petrosky, who was the dog, Captain Petrosky now, who handled the dog. And this is me positioning myself as Officer Stoddard said that Mr. Workman was in at the time the shot was fired. The shot was fired from down below here through the undersurface of his right upper arm, and then came in this direction, traveling to the north. So we're looking south, and the bullet would be coming at us towards the north. Don't believe that the bullet that went through Officer Stoddard's arm is Q1. This is the depiction of the line of fire. This is where we think Mr. Workman may have been positioned. Captain Petrosky is standing at the site of the blood pool from Lieutenant Oliver's body. This officer is standing where bullet fragment Q2 is, and this little hat held above a head right here is Officer Stoddard standing where bullet Q1 was located.
When were these pictures made?
Several weeks ago.
Several weeks ago.
Yes, sir. This is bullet fragment Q2. Remember I talked to you about the cannelure that's present in the jacket material. This is soft aluminum. Whenever you crimp aluminum like this, you're going to make a stress riser, which means it has a predilection to fracture either along the margin of the cannelure or at one of the corrugations. It shows, however, that this portion has been disrupted or torn from the jacket by some significant force. This is a bullet, obviously, that struck something hard. It didn't expand as a silver tip might want in something that's dense but yielding, but it struck something hard enough to tear the jacket and then propel the jacket from the core and split the jacket in this manner as well. And you can see from the undersurface, we have these sharp areas where the jacket has fractured, and then we have this area where there's been a ductile tearing of the jacket material here, indicating that the bullet struck with some significant force on one side and the jacket fragmented off. This could produce a ricochet. This is bullet Q1 that was collected from the crime scene the following day. You can see that it has, instead of the typical curved nose of the silver tip, it's been knocked back into an almost cylindrical shape. It also has some peck marks from impact with the gravel of the parking lot. Maybe failing to drop us. Can you rattle that and see if you can get the other slide to drop? There we go. Now this is the nose of Q1. You can see that instead of having that tapered tip, that